interestingly, the film that won Best Film, which no one's talking about, is Coda. And that is an Apple TV Plus original.
Oh, right.
Which is interesting because they are throwing a lot of money at content. And I'm yet to I know it's just one bit Best Picture, and I'm yet to think of a show or a movie on Apple TV Plus that has really taken off, apart from Ted Lasso, which I don't think is for everyone. And I do think it will happen. I think Apple TV Plus...
I think Ted Lasso has done very well.
Ted Lasso has done very well.
Massively. But you're right. That's a comedy. You almost where's the prestige show, the big one?
And I'm sure they're loving it because their film is won Best Picture. That's the biggest accolade you can have for your film. But I don't, anecdotally, whether it's because people don't have Apple TV Plus, but people aren't talking about the shows on that platform. I see trailers for stuff. Like I remember I was excited for The Foundation, and people said it wasn't that great. The Foundation. It had Jared Harris in it, and it was like a huge stuff. Exactly. The fact you don't even know.
No. Did you see the Paul Rudd thing with Will Ferrell?
No, Shrink Next Door. There's The Servant, which I hear is decent.
The Shyamalan.
The Shyamalan with Rupert Grint and Toby Kebbell. But and I do think they will happen because they've got more money than sense, and it will go. This brings me on to a show I've been watching, which is an Apple TV Plus original, which is WeCrashed, which is about Adam Neiman, the WeWork entrepreneur, and it stars Jared Leto in a little bit of prosthetic, and Anne Hathaway as his very kooky wife. I mean, do you know much about the WeWork story?
I do, because I work in that area.
Do you want to explain?
Yeah, well,
you probably know better than me.
Well, I don't know the story of what happened with WeWork, why it's called WeCrashed. WeWork. It actually surprised me that when I was talking about it with friends recently, that they weren't familiar with it. WeWork is a co-working space, and it was like the most prominent brand of co-working space.
Even though there had been other ones before that, it shot straight up as the most.
And I know,
one.
Yeah, exactly. So they were the most marketable and famous example of the word WeWork became synonymous with co-working in the same way that like Netflix became synonymous with streaming. It's just one of those buzzwords.
The Netflix of, like the WeWork of.
But I'm aware that the CEO was slightly contentious and controversial, and I know that I don't think this is a spoiler. This is public knowledge that when they listed it, it famously tanked.
Yeah,
and that's why it's probably called WeCrashed. And they also had didn't they have off-brand shoots, like there's WeWork and like WeGym and
WeLive. Like this is like right before the fall. It looked like it was starting to.
So co-working is still a massive thing, and now huge. Co-living is still
and
a thing.
WeWork is still a business that operates.
Yes, but it was like the first kind of like champion out the gate. So anyway, tell me.
It's all. I think that the main thing is that it was valued far beyond its actual valuation. It had crazy valuation.
Also, I don't know if we need to explain this to some people, but maybe we do. When we say co-working, we mean like you turn up to you rent a desk, or you rent a room, or you rent and you pay based on that.
And it's there's free food, free beer.
Yeah, sure.
It's all the little bean bags and trendy little
big
bulbs,
industry now.
Exposed brick.
Okay, all right.
And so I looked at this show and I thought, this looks kind of good. It kind of reminds me of the Steve Jobs film and a bit of Social Network and Aaron Sorkin-esque We Rise, We Fall. And I thought, I'm going to give this a go because it looks fun, it looks well made. But I was also similarly kind of at the end of my Jared Leto tether.
Yes.
Just based on the marketing for Morbius, which I hear is not
Are you
going
to see that?
I hear it's
I'm
going to
avoid it.
I don't think I'm going to do it.
It's currently got 15% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, a shocker. We could have told you that. And then like that performance in House of Gucci, which he just...
What are you talking about?
It is for me. I want to make trousers. just so... Like I said, it's not bad. It's just so misplaced and so off. And
the Joker.
He was back in the Snyder Cut of Justice League for a little Joker scene, which it was more of the Joker. And what the problem with Jared Leto, and I think he is a really good actor, and I think he's good in this. But the character of Adam Newman is really irritating, and you can tell that that's meant to be a part of the plot. Adam Newman isn't irritating, thinks he's so much better than he is, considers himself to be this Steve Jobs level visionary. And it is a little bit irritating to follow him and the character, his wife, played by Anne Hathaway, who's also very annoying. I'm only 2 episodes into it.
Right. Of how many do you know? 8?
I think it's 8. Okay, top of my head. Good. So I'm only 2 episodes into it, and I'm going to stick with it because I'm enjoying it more. In the first episode, I found Jared Leto really irritating. The second episode, I'm finding it more interesting. The problem with WeCrashed is that if this film had come out 10 years ago, it would be a huge hit. The problem is there have been several other things that have done what this is doing better.
What do you mean? Do you mean like
This
the
whole
modern
idea
tale of
of-
hubris? Like,
So like if we start with courtroom with lawyers, like where is he? We're about to
The
go
Social
live.
Network.
It is. Like I said, Steve Jobs' film,
Yeah.
which I think was brilliant at masterfully like switching between time zones and showing you what happened, and The Social Network. And I think I've seen other things do this better, and this format is a little bit cookie cutter at this point. Like I said, I've only seen 2 episodes, and I think Jared Leto is good in it, but it was without a doubt engaging, and I'm curious to see what happens next. And I want to hear more. I want to hear more about the level of craziness that goes to. That there are certain quotes where his architect partner, who's starting to lose his get at the end of his tether with Adam Newman, he says, "You're not God, and he says, "Yes, but you have to admit I look a little bit like him." And there's these things where like he has this blind optimism about everything that he does, and he signs like a huge lease in the early part of this business for this massive office space in Brooklyn. They're barely able to maintain it. Like they've not got enough money. And he comes to his business partner and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've signed another 2." And he's like, "What are you doing? Like we don't have." So it's like growth at the cost of anything. Just growth. And he has this optimism where it's like, "Adam, like this building you've got, it's going to cost you over $1 million to do it up. Like it's full of mold." He says, "Look, we're still finding out whether or not it is the good mold or the bad mold." And this guy's like, "What do you mean? There is no bad mold. It's got mold. There is no good mold. It's all bad mold. Mold is bad." So, like, here's the thing. Again, like, I want to put it in the context of what Apple TV Plus is trying to do, which I know shouldn't be relevant to the art, but I'm like, they're clearly going for so many things that you can see the shadow of so many other successful formats they're trying to really go for. And look, I've not finished it. Maybe it gets really good, but I'm like, what? I'm going to stick with it. But basically, I don't know how I feel about it yet.
I think what you're trying to say is also like, where does this sit? What's the place for this show? Like culturally,
I'm waiting for it to hit me with something really new and then tell me a story I don't know before.
So the moment it's like a pale imitation of what you've already seen before.
Yeah.
What's the accent he's from?
Israeli. The character is Israeli. So he's a little bit
Is Anne Hathaway doing the accent as well?
No, she is American. But still very strange. She sounds strange. I'm trying to figure out where she's from. It's sort of like, no. What we do is we're going to do this. And I do it. Hey, for me, it is not about... With real estate, it's not about where you can see. It's how people can see you.
Okay. Right.
And... there's
okay. Well, so we'll see. So you almost the point of it needs to be a bit more. It needs to come out. I guess maybe let me know when you finish the show.
I want to know why they wanted to make it.
I guess because of it's the hubris. There's this huge like fall from grace, but
there's this kind of Fire Festival-esque theme of if we can be so confident and so bullish and deceive people and make them believe that we are valued at the highest possible level. It's such an interesting way to frame this like social media boom last 10 years we've had. Like everyone wants to try and understand how all these things have come up and gone so quickly, and I hope it sort of goes to that. But again, like Fire Festival documentaries did it better, of like trying to capture that.
Well, there's that WeWork documentary, which I think maybe I should give that. Well, that's the thing. Is that informing? Is that making your perception of this show a pale imitation?
That felt very different, and I don't think it was the most amazing documentary.
Okay.
There was nothing wrong with it, but I wasn't like, whoa, like that's changed.
This has covered everything. Okay, all right.
I'm interested to see like what like the path of that personality and what he does.
All right.
Maybe I'll catch up with you at the end when I've done it.
Yeah, do.
Yeah.